Molle Trimax hier, herzlich willkommen zu einem. Aktuell laden wir gerade die Vlogs hoch von unserer Bootsreise, die wir letztens gemacht haben. Und inspiriert wurden wir für diese Bootreise von diesem Kanal hier, Downy Life. Wir haben uns die Videos dazu angeschaut, die er mal vor einem Jahr, glaube ich, hochgeladen hat. Und wir dachten, das machen wir auch. Jetzt gerade laden wir wieder die Vlogs halt eben hoch. Und jetzt gerade, in der Zeit, wo wir die hochladen, hat er wieder Videos sozusagen darüber gemacht. Letzte Woche hat er schon eins hochgeladen, aber ich habe ihm gesagt, wenn er diese Woche wieder eins hochlädt, dann reagiere ich drauf. Ja, dann starten wir doch mal rein, ne?
This is the canal, and this is the city. There is one city in the world that is most well known for its canals. However, we're about to cruise a narrowboat into the city that has more miles of canal than Venice. This is Birmingham, and welcome to Downy Live Travels by Boat.
Boah. Birmingham. Wir waren in Manchester in der Nähe. Bei Stoke-on-Trent sind wir gestartet und sind nach Anderton gefahren. Also, ich bin gespannt, wie es bei ihm aussehen wird.
Now, to book this adventure, I used drifters.co.uk.
Haben wir auch gebraucht.
And they found us a boat with ABC Boat Hire.
Wir hatten Black Prince Holiday oder so etwas hatten wir. Ich habe sogar von denen, wenn ich es jetzt finde. Hier, ich habe das hier gekriegt am Ende von der Reise. Das ist so eine Schiefertafel, irgendwas.
To Dusky Lark. So, let me give you a tour on board. Lots of space here for steering and for guests to sit.
Wir hatten auch unterwegs haben wir sehr viele von diesen Booten hier gesehen. Wir hatten hinten nicht so viel Platz. Wir konnten wirklich nur draußen stehen, wo das Ruder war und dann konntest du direkt reingehen. So Sitzplätze hatten wir nicht.
Let's head in to the first of two bedrooms.
So sah es bei uns ungefähr auch aus, nur dass halt 2 Betten waren, also 2 Einzelbetten links und rechts.
A double bed. It's kind of perched up for daytime mode. Goes down, goes slightly wider at night. 2 large windows, so lots of light in here. Large closet for all your stuff. As we come down the hall, we come past the first of 2 washrooms.
Jo.
Both washrooms
Ja, da
are
unser sah ungefähr so aus auch, nur dass das Waschbecken und die Toilette abgewechselt waren.
incredibly spacious. I'm gonna stick my arm out and not touch anything. But they also both have full-size showers.
Ich glaube, wir hatten genau die gleiche Dusche, genau die gleiche Anlage, nur dass bei uns im Bild, da gab das Holz oben nicht war. Das ist die beschissenste Dusche ever, weil wenn du heiß und kalt einstellen möchtest, du duschst am Anfang, erstes Mal, wenn du duschen gehst, duschst du einfach nur mit kochendem Wasser gefühlt. Aber irgendwann dann, wenn du genug Kraft aufwendest, um dieses Rad zu drehen, dann hast du endlich ein bisschen kühleres Wasser. Aber es braucht schon ein bisschen.
As we leave the bathroom, we come into the second bedroom. Lots of natural lighting with the big windows. And then we pass the second washroom, also a shower. And then we enter the kitchen.
Boah. Wir hatten nur ein Badezimmer und unsere Küche, die war eher ein bisschen zur Seite. Aber wir haben sehr, sehr, sehr viel Platz nach vorne gehabt. Also die, wo sie jetzt da vorne nur den Tisch haben, da hatten wir gefühlt 3-mal so viel Platz wie die.
Full gas stovetop, grill, oven. They call it an escape hatch. I call it a sunlight. Big windows again for a kitchen on a narrowboat. Really bright, really spacious. And that leads us into the living room and dining room. Kind of does both. Personally, I love the L-shaped seating, so you can look out the window as we're cruising along. And of course, the final piece is our front deck. But this doesn't look like the city, does it? Well, that's because the marina where we rented this from is in Alvechurch. It's outside of Birmingham. There are no rental boat companies in Birmingham. So we rented it, and we're headed into the city today. As you can guess by the title of this video, Birmingham does have more canals than Venice. In fact, Venice only has about 26 miles of canals. Birmingham at one point had 126 miles. Mind you, 26 of that has been left abandoned. So there's still 100 miles of active canal in Birmingham. And that's what we're gonna go see. Well, as much of it as we can. I have to admit, immediately, I would not guess we are anywhere near a city. I think that's what we're gonna see. Is this is the beautiful part about the canals, is even though it can be so close or even in a city, it often
Digga, auch hier
won't feel
hinten,
like you are at
Alter.
all.
Hier hinten kommen sie mit dem, wie heißt es, Kanu, kommen sie angedüst, Alter.
In a city, it often won't feel like you are at all. Right away, compare this bridge to the bridges from the previous video. Nice little brick bridges. This is a traffic bridge. We are definitely getting close to a city. Headed to Birmingham. See if we get there. Thanks. It's pretty incredible. We'll be just puttering along, come underneath something that reminds us we're getting close to a city, but then suddenly you're just back in a field or the countryside, just so sheltered from the elements of the city. Wow, this is nice. Remember, most canals run through the countryside. I tried narrowboating for the first time
Ja,
2
das haben wir
years ago
geschaut. Das haben wir geschaut hier.
with Nicole back when I had long hair,
Boah.
and we saw more sheep and cows than we did people. But this time, we're heading towards a city. And yes, I mean we. I don't have to do this boat alone. Nicole is joining us, everybody.
Sonnencreme, sehr wichtig. Ich habe mir 30.000 Mal verbrannt.
This is the tunnel. Nicole, the tunnel is here. Okay, we need to turn on all the lights inside.
Oh, Tunnel!
Aye, aye, Captain!
Haben Sie einen langen Tunnel, haben Sie einen kurzen Tunnel? Was haben Sie?
I
Mussten wir auch
turn
machen.
on
Bringt
the
viel
headlight
zum Fahren.
and give 2 strong blasts of the horn and 1 long one. This is going to be a very long tunnel, so it's going to be very cold. We're going to need heavy
Okay.
sweaters. And the other thing that we need are life jackets.
Richtig,
Nice shot.
wichtig.
Very
Wichtig,
sexy
wichtig.
Captain.
All the lights are on, Captain.
All the lights are on, the front light is on.
Die Weste musst du also solltest du anhaben, wenn du hinten draußen stehst, währenddem du fahrst. Wir hatten ja auch so einen Tunnel, wo du 3/4 Stunde durchfährst. Ich glaube, so lang ist der bei denen jetzt nicht. Ich glaube, da fährst du maximal so 10 Minuten durch, aber ist auch ein bisschen.
Good thing I just put sunscreen on.
Sweater, life jacket, coffees, lights are on. We're ready.
45 minutes, so who's got the time?
Bei denen geht auch 45 Minuten. Boah. Also bei uns hattest du da riesen Aufwand und alles, Alter. Da musst du dich anmelden, da musst du Bootkontrolle und alles haben. Ja, die können einfach durchfahren. Let's go.
Maybe a little too strong.
Yeah, it's good. It'll get us through the tunnel. So this is the Wast Hill Tunnel. It's 2,493 meters long. But what I find really interesting is there's obviously no towpath inside, so the horses would go up
Aber ich frage mich gerade wirklich, wie kommen die da? Bei uns war es so, auf beiden Seiten gab es Leute, die das kontrolliert haben. Nee, die können auch reinfahren. Wieso?
and over and meet you on the other end of the tunnel. But it is in fact wide enough for 2 boats.
Das erklärt einiges. 2 Boote. Da passen doch keine 2 Boote rein.
So the tunnel is wide enough for another boat to pass. Oh, it's dripping on me. Feel that? It does leak a little bit. That's cool. Look at that. Oh my gosh, it's like covered in stalactites. This is a brick-lined tunnel, but all I can see are stalactites, stalagmites, cave slime. When you encounter a big hill, the fastest way for a boat to get to the other side is to simply go through it. But building a tunnel is obviously more expensive and more work, but it's critical to keeping the flow of cargo and goods moving quickly, even if that high speed is only 3 miles per hour.
Look at this drip coming up. Like that's like a proper shower.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah.
I'm going inside. See ya. You're doing great.
Oh, es hat so getropft, auch immer voll nass werden und dann hat so manchmal so ein bisschen getroffen, manchmal war es einfach so ein Wasserstrahl, der dich einfach komplett weggehauen hat.
It's just groundwater seeping through. Let's blow the horn again. One more time.
Wir haben immer noch Musik gehört, dabei ist er geil.
That's pretty cool. This is a very, very wet tunnel. So as you can see, the reason they tell you to turn all your inside lights in the boat on is so they reflect on the walls. And that helps you see better as you go through the tunnel. You can tell where the tunnel edges are, so you can make sure you're staying in the middle.
Long way to go.
Oh, that sign. That says 300 meters. We've gone 300 meters of 2.5 kilometers.
Oh my god.
As you can tell, a 45-minute long tunnel is in fact the longest tunnel on this canal.
So how old is this tunnel?
No idea.
You don't know. That's not your job.
Nicole is right. I normally do a lot of research before these trips.
Is it wet?
No, it doesn't say. But I can tell you now that it was built in 1796, which is so old. I mean, this is a tunnel for boats that is still operating today. Okay, we can actually see brick here. This stretch seems to be a lot drier. I love how the water is so perfectly calm and flat that it almost makes like a perfect pipe, perfect tunnel, perfect round entrance, as opposed to a half-circle tunnel.
Das muss man bedenken. Ich weiß nicht, ich glaube, ihr folgt mir eh nicht auf Instagram, sonst hier Instagram/@ folgen. Da habe ich auch Fotos gepostet, wo wir aus dem Tunnel rausgefahren sind und das Wasser war einfach braun. Wirklich nur braun, du konntest nicht durchsehen. Und den Tunnel, den langen, den wir gefahren sind, da war das Wasser durch den ganzen Tunnel einfach nur braun. Da hast du zwar die Farbe nicht gesehen vom Wasser im Tunnel, aber es hat einfach nicht reflektiert. Es war einfach alles dreckig, nicht schön. Und diese braue Farbe, die hat sich auch ewig weitergezogen. Wir sind, nachdem wir aus dem Tunnel rausgekommen sind, sind wir 8 Schleusen gefahren und das Wasser war immer noch gleich braun. Das
Flat surface, if you know what I mean. But you can tell, you can see here, it's not a perfectly straight tunnel. It's a little bit S, so Nicole's definitely having to steer us through. But it's definitely straight enough that we can see the exit. Tiny little pinprick of a light. We've done 600 meters. Just another 1900 meters to go. I mean, how cool is this? Floating through a tunnel on essentially a houseboat. I mean, I don't know where else in the world you can still operate and experience this type of engineering. So the reason they make us wear the life jackets is because there's no towpath for you to just pull yourself up on. If some reason you got knocked off the boat, whatever reason, and started to fall back, if the other person didn't notice, well, you can't just pull yourself off on the towpath, but
You could hit your head a lot more easily.
you could hit your head a lot more easily, and also it's very difficult to be spotted because it's so dark in here.
Den Tunnel, den wir durchgefahren sind, ich glaube 2014 jemand reingefallen und leider gestorben. Also es macht Sinn, würde ich sagen.
For a while.
I can imagine the worst spot to fall out.
I want you to know, outside is warm enough for t-shirts, but inside is so cold you can see our breath. Look at that. That is cold.
I don't see the waterfall again.
No, it's coming.
Oh, I see it on the water.
Yeah.
Great.
Might just bring it in here and hear you better.
It feels a little mean that you just want to get my reaction of getting hit in the face with a fluid.
Your reaction is better than mine.
Feels like a tough look.
Not of a fluid. Don't say it like that.
Well, I'm just calling it like I see it.
Oh.
Here's your air shaft, baby.
Here's an air shaft. There are 2 ventilation shafts which are used to bring fresh air into the tunnel, but they were also used during construction to haul out dirt and rock while they were digging the tunnel. Feels like we should stop the boat right under it and have a singing solo in the spotlight. Oh, we're getting closer. I find it so incredible that we've been left alone to drive a boat ourselves underground for 45 minutes in a tunnel that was built well over 200 years ago.
Ich denke, wir sind auch durch so einen Tunnel durchgefahren und bei uns im Vlog geht die Sequenz 30 Sekunden und fertig. Und der kann jetzt schon darüber, keine Ahnung, 5 Minuten reden.
That is so dark behind us. Tiny spot of light, which means we're almost done. It just got bigger in here and it feels a little bit more like a cathedral. This is spacious now.
That's me like riding a bicycle.
you
It's
go.
really just on autopilot.
Now, it's not immediately clear as we exit the tunnel where we are exactly. But let me tell you that we have in fact reached the outskirts of Birmingham. And that is it. Oh, you feel that?
Yeah.
Instantly warmer.
Woo!
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got my inhaled enough diesel to last me the next couple of years.
Well, we got fresh air now. Onwards to Birmingham.
The air smells so fresh in comparison. You don't realize how much you miss it.
No, you can instantly feel it as you come out of the tunnel.
I feel like I'm still soaked.
You are still soaked. The boat looks like we've been out in the rain all day. Instead, we've been in a tunnel.
Yeah.
Got water on your nose?
Yeah, I don't think you need it close up with my pores, but thank you. This is great. Let me know, I'll drop my skincare routine.
So it's hard to get an idea of how long things are going to take on the canal, but since you go about walking speed, I tend to put it into my GPS and just check for directions for walking. Also, it will give you the walking directions generally along the canal path. So yeah, this is good anywhere on the left. I'd like us to get to the Gas Street Basin. We have about another 3 hours to get to Gas Street Basin.
This is the behind the scenes shots that you don't normally get to see. Michael has pulled the boat over and he is now flying the drone. I have the fun job of holding the boat to the side of the river whilst Mike flies the drone.
Wir hatten auch vor, so Sachen zu machen. Haben wir es gemacht? Nö, wir sind zu faul gewesen, sind einfach durchgefahren. Aber es wäre auch geil gewesen. Wir hatten zwar keine Drohne dabei, aber so ein paar Shots zu machen, ja, das wäre schon geil gewesen.
This is the sexy stuff you just don't get to see on Downey Rye normally. How the sausage is made. We're just hanging out in neutral. Cruise is on pause until the drone footage is done. Isn't that right, Mike?
That tunnel had us cross the city limits and arrive
Wow.
in a community. But you wouldn't guess it from down here, would you? I can't see anything other than trees and greenery. But there are a few small hints that we're getting closer to the city, We've stopped the engine. We've been struggling the last little bit. I think, well, we're not sure,
Oh, no.
but we think there might be something in the propeller. You have the keys
Das
in
habe
your
ich bei
pocket?
ihm gesehen. Ich glaube, im ersten Video war es, wo er musste, ich glaube, irgendwie Grünzeugs aus dem Propeller rausziehen. Wenn das bei uns passiert wäre, ich glaube, wir wären einfach, das wäre eine absolute Katastrophe gewesen. Aber er hat es jetzt zweimal. Scheiße. Die muss man auch. Wichtig, wichtig. Oh, aber das ist nicht das, was ich gemeint
I
habe.
admit,
Boah.
this is not the cleanest looking water. I don't want to stick my hand in there, but if we're not going anywhere, I'm gonna have to. Oh yeah, we've definitely got
Oh,
cloth of some sort.
Fudi.
Yeah, we got something. Can't tell if it's
Oh,
a blanket or a sweater. Ooh. Wood and part of a pop can, so
er steckt wirklich komplett im Motor drin. Bei uns konntest du nur so die Hand reinstrecken. Er ist wirklich einfach, er ist der Motor.
you want to be very careful with your fingers. I'm doing this very slowly. I might need like a knife. Thank you. That's some of it. Yeah.
Boah, was haben die da verwitscht? Ist es ein Pullover oder?
Heavy. Oh, is that the rest of it? That might be it.
Ne, ich glaube, das ist eher nett. Aber uralt.
That is a big, like, doormat carpet or something. Let's check.
Oder ein
I think
Teppich.
we're free. I think that's it. Look at that. Whew. No wonder we weren't going anywhere. We're gonna
Das haben sie uns nicht gezeigt. Also es wäre natürlich blöd gewesen, falls wir es hätten machen müssen, aber bei unserem Boot hatten wir das nicht gezeigt bekommen, wie man das macht.
test this. Make sure it's sealed before we shut it up. No water is coming up from it. We're good. Feel better?
Thank you for sorting it.
An intersection we didn't anticipate. This way. Now, some other hints that we're headed in the right direction towards the city center are a little more obvious. We're starting to see a little bit more graffiti than we did in previous videos. We're getting close to the city. Nicole and I have
Da
ridden
frage
on
ich
a
mich auch so, ist Vandalismus da ein bisschen schlimmer an den Booten, wenn du das Boot abstellst und weggehst, ob da Graffiti einfach noch auf dem Boot drauf ist? Ich hoffe es nicht.
handful of canals and canal boats together, and this one's interesting. It's not the usual scenery we get along the canals, so I'm curious to see what it's like as we get closer to the city center. You can see how urban it suddenly feels. We're just next to a bunch of warehouses. That means we're getting closer to downtown. I just saw a sign that says we're about 2 miles from the university. The canal here was how they transported goods in the UK before the steam train was invented. And the high speed of the train was what eventually put the canals out of business. But here, they live side by side still. Yeah, train station right here. I could have picked you up right here. The train station. And the canals have changed from a busy industrial area over the years to a quiet place in, well, the middle of the city. It was Waterside Estate. Nicole brought snacks. In fact, a lot of locals use the towpath as walking or cycling trails. So Nicole's gonna give them a try.
What kind of shots would you like? I'm gonna go take some shots of you driving the boat. Oh. Oh yeah. I'm going for a walk. Totally normal, natural. Nothing to see here. You just guys didn't see his eye roll. I'm going for a walk. The thing about narrowboats is you don't get a lot of steps in.
Boah, das ist wirklich wahr. Boah, ich weiß nicht, kann ich das nachschauen? Wie viele Schritte ich gemacht habe in den Tagen. Natürlich, ich glaube, die Schrittzähler-App hat das Gefühl, dass du viel läufst. Aber ich glaube in Wahrheit, du läufst echt nicht viel. Für das, was wir gemacht haben, ich hatte manchmal 4000 Schritte. Mal hatte ich nur 2000 Schritte, scheiße. Ja, also gut. Viele Schritte zeigst du eben nicht an.
I'm stuck. We've grounded. Let's go back. And while she's getting her steps in, I get to eat the rest of the snacks. I tend to use my hips a lot for steering, rather than my hands.
Hey there, sailor. You looking to take any wenches aboard?
Only dames. We take damsels, but only if they're in distress.
So that's a no. It's a hard no on the wenches.
Hard no on the wenches. Ladies and dames only. Now we are approaching the University of Birmingham. It's the 7th largest university in the UK with about 35,000 students. But I can tell you, from down here on the canal, you'd hardly know it at all. I mean, without this sign, I wouldn't have known we were passing it. Now all of this talk of us.
Boah, das ist geil. Oh, okay, hier siehst du es gut, dass du über Straßen fährst, aber wir hatten es auch so oft. Ich habe im Nachhinein fürs Video habe ich so Google Maps Aufnahmen gesucht. Bro, ich sehe so, ach, wir sind über, keine Ahnung, ich glaube, über die ganze Strecke verteilt sind wir über 6 Straßen drüber gefahren. Kein einziges Mal mitbekommen.
Narrowboating through a city with more canals than Venice, and yet we haven't seen any city. But I think that's about to change. We've passed the University of Birmingham, so we're officially in Birmingham. But it doesn't really feel like it yet. Except for the occasional train. Not much. Ooh, is that something? And under this final bridge, we are arriving in the Birmingham city center. And along the rest of this trip, we haven't seen a single boat on the canal so far. Yet, the city center here is suddenly very busy. It's a different
Alter, was ist das für ein Boot? Das ist ja übelst lang. Digga, holy
feeling to
shit.
the canals in the countryside. We suddenly went from nothing to so much action. I mean, in terms of canal boating. This used to be full of warehouses, obviously for shipping goods on and off of the canals, which was what it was all about. And now it's this lovely retail area. But I'm worried, just like everywhere in the city, parking might be difficult. It's cute, but it's busy. We want to find the visitor mooring spots. Do you remember what side they're on? Let's keep going. We'll go to the next one. These are visitor moorings. We're going to keep going a little bit, but we're going to keep this as a backup. Come back if we have to. I think this one's a restaurant.
Lego.
Everyone's so dressed up. I don't know if I have any clothes that'll fit in here.
That's always the case. That has nothing to do with being on canal.
No. Nice basin, though. This
Oh, shit.
is Gas Street Basin. So we're coming through a very narrow point, and this was
Oh,
one
was
of the
das?
toll houses where you'd have to stop, pay the toll to use the
Es ist
canal.
wie, als würdest du durch eine Schleuse durchfahren
Built in
einfach.
1772, and it is now full of
Hast doch einfach nur eine Schleuse gefühlt.
marinas for narrowboats and restaurants for people. And as you can see, it's busy. This is technically the end of one canal, and just up ahead is the beginning of a different canal. So they connected them with this very narrow stretch here, where you would normally have to pay a toll to pass through. That is a great example of the original, like, working, coal hauling narrowboats. No living space there except for the back little bit for the traveler. I want to say I'm just filming. Nicole's doing a perfect job of managing this tight spaces with all the gongoozlers watching. But all of these old buildings were warehouses and factories that used the narrowboats to ship their goods to other parts of the country. And they've now changed to restaurants and pubs. And the
Ah, Schweiz.
canals have been adopted for recreational use, like what we're doing now. And you can really see how it's brought a lot of life to the area.
Was sehe ich da? Was sehe ich da?
Oh my gosh, they have party boats! Everyone's out having a good time in Birmingham. This is the place to be. How do you feel about leaving our boat here overnight?
We could park here, get dinner, do city stuff, and then we don't have to sleep here if you don't want to.
Right. Okay, so we'll moor up. Oh, this says no mooring. That's very confusing right next to the mooring pins.
Must be for
Maybe it's those ones up there. The confusion is coming from all these open and available parking spots, but they're actually reserved for all the tour and party boats, as this is where they're based, so we can't park here. But look at all the people. It really is amazing to see how lively this area is. So I thought we could moor here. I think maybe on the left, but I bet that's full too. We could turn around and go back to that other spot, or we can keep going. So at the
Wir
beginning.
hatten das einmal, beim Richtung Ende wollten wir irgendwo essen gehen, bei so einer riesigen Schleuse. Der war auch da. Da ist ein gutes Restaurant. Da wollten wir parkieren. Da kam ein Typ und sagte, nee, ihr dürft hier nicht parkieren. Hier darf man nur parkieren, wenn man Wasser holen geht. Tja, da sind wir durchgefahren. 100, 200 Meter später haben wir dann wieder angehalten. Aber manchmal, ne?
Beginning of the episode, I did reference that this is the Venice more so than Venice. Like this has over.
Das finde ich crazy. Hier kann man ja auch reinfahren mit dem Boot. So was hatten wir kein einziges Mal, dass wir so 90 Grad nach rechts einbiegen müssen. Aber hier soll man ja reinfahren können. Das ist crazy, wenn man da rein kann. Wenn man das schafft, Respekt.
100 miles of canal in it, whereas Venice only has 26 miles. And like, look at this. Does this not feel like a canal city? We might be able to moor up here. Some boats.
on the right.
And this might just be the hub of it all. This is where a number of canals and side canals come together. Like this big intersection here with a roundabout in the middle. Or is it called a roundabout? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, okay, this does say mooring for 4 days.
Okay, but that's not really like that.
There's maybe one up on the left. We'll check this sign as well. I have to say, it's a weird feeling driving our own boat in a city center. Oh, wait a minute.
This is Legoland.
Yeah, Legoland. But with that being said, there's not much traffic on the water. Perfect. We'll park it here on
Die
the
haben ja
left.
noch ein richtiges Dampfbootgefühl hier, da räuchten sie ja richtig raus.
Yes, in Birmingham. All right, reverse. Yeah!
Oh, die haben noch so einen richtigen Motor, Alter. Der klingt noch nach Power einfach.
And let's back it up.
I'm backing up.
It's just like finding parking in the city, except it's free for up to 4 days here. Not bad. Now we're gonna lock up and explore the city. So we'll lock our doors, close our blinds, and make sure the boat is tied up tight. This really is prime parking and seems like a good quiet spot in the heart of town. Well, maybe not too quiet.
Okay.
I'm not used to this, but because we're in the city, we can do city stuff. So showered, cleaned up, going on a proper date night. The awkward part is the boat keys.
Boah, die sind geil. Wir waren beim Bootlift und da konnte man die kaufen und ich habe leider keinen gekauft, aber ich wollte eigentlich so einen haben, aber zeitplanmäßig war es ein bisschen scheiße. Aber die Teile sind eigentlich voll geil, so Korkenteiler. Ich habe die immer in die Hosentasche gesteckt und dann hat es perfekt gepasst, also ich weiß nicht.
Rotation cork ball, but that in the pocket
Doch.
is largely
Na.
awkward.
Okay, ja gut.
They're just boat keys. It's so interesting to see the original industrial architecture built around the canals still being used and loved today. So Nicole and I have decided to stay near the canals to enjoy this unique atmosphere. We are dining tonight at this canal-side warehouse converted to a restaurant. Wow. And out back has a huge patio and live music right along the water, which should make for a great canal-themed date spot. Not a bad view.
Not this way.
But we have a big debate to settle once and for all. We're comparing the difference between chips and fries. Chip, French fry.
Belgian Fries, Top 1.
I vote chips. You vote?
I go restaurant by restaurant, and if they make their chips better than their fries, then good for them, but
So in this case?
the fries are better.
Before we head back to the boat, Nicole and I want to walk off all these chips, fries. I don't think I would have put Birmingham on my travel list, except for this canal. And I'm not disappointed. So let's see what Birmingham is like away from the canals. And the first thing we see are people having fun in all sorts of different ways. Wow.
Schlecht.
Birmingham's got a lively square. Woo! Birmingham also has a modern set of trams and some incredible, beautiful old architecture, and of course, more canals, which eventually leads us back to our home sweet home. Good morning. If I'm honest, it's actually not even morning anymore. It's 12:30 in the afternoon. We've had a very lazy morning.
11:30 Uhr ist für die Afternoon. Ja, okay, gut. Ne, wir sind wirklich manchmal 7 Uhr aufgestanden. Alle außer Cedric, der hat gepennt bis 8 Uhr, also währenddem wir schon losgefahren sind. Und in den letzten Tagen, wo wir es nicht so stressig hatten, haben wir mal bis 10 gepennt, auch mal bis 11. Aber sonst muss man früh aufstehen, wenn man Meter machen möchte.
Except for Nicole, she's off at the moment at a gym, working out in town. Because you can do that when you're in a city. This has been a very different canal experience than we normally have. And so today, we're just gonna head up a little bit, turn around, and then we gotta head back to return this tomorrow morning. But I think there's still time for brunch. Now I know this feels like a little bit of a repeat of what you just saw from our night last night, but I swear it's different because we're going to the toll house, and the canal is a lot quieter this morning, this afternoon, I know. Again, this is another piece of canal infrastructure that has now been adopted for people to come and enjoy. I figure if we came all the way here, we had to see it. The canals were a big part of why Birmingham grew into a booming working town, and it seems like the canals are still at the center of it all. This is cool, but I think we're gonna sit outside because it's a nice enough day. Cheers. So this bar was the location between two different canals, and they would have to carry the cargo from one canal into another boat in this other canal until this was opened, like 23 years later. This little narrow gap made a big difference. You see, this basin was the end of the Birmingham Mainline Canal, and this basin was the end of the Worcester and Birmingham Canal line. That's a separate canal. Only in 1815 did they connect it with this little connector. And what's now the Canalside Pub used to be the toll house. They'd collect the toll for passing from one canal to the next. I realized that they call an English breakfast just breakfast over here. That was the only option. Would you like breakfast? Yes, you get this. I really love how narrowboating is a unique mix of history and leisure. Like we're eating brunch on holiday in a canal toll house that is over 200 years old. And I might like the history and engineering aspect of the canals, but they're fun and relaxing enough for Nicole to want to come along too. It really feels like a win-win to me. We just stopped on the way back to the boat, got some groceries, and what we found is Birmingham is very walkable. Basically, once we've arrived by boat, we haven't needed a car. It's been fantastic.
Most canals are in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It feels like. Yeah, it's been cool. It's been fun. Ironically, we need groceries because we will be in the middle of nowhere by dinner time.
That's
We
right.
think. Not very many choices.
Right.
Once you leave the city, you're on your own.
It's been nice to arrive by boat and not be trapped without a car. We've done everything we've wanted to do just by walking. Nicole went to the gym this morning,
Yeah.
just walked.
Yeah.
But our time in Birmingham is up. Okay, good to go.
5 Sekunden vorglühen, Motor anmachen.
Gonna give us a bit of a push. I don't know what I expected in Birmingham, but I had a better time than I thought I would. Can't go anywhere without our tiller. All good things must come to an end, I guess. Thank you, Birmingham. I'll admit, I was a little worried about narrowboating in a city center in front of gongoozlers, but that was a fun stop, and honestly, I think it was the best way to see Birmingham. Can I honk? Making a big turn here. Uh-oh, we're not gonna make it. I'm impressed you've made it this far in the video. I'm Mike, this is Downey Live, and if the subscribe button is red, since you've made it this far, I recommend you hit it. Make sure it's gray, because next week is even more interesting than this
Oh,
week.
shit.
Because I'll be driving a narrowboat in
Hier! Let's go. Black Prince Holiday, let's go.
Scotland for the first time as we ride the world's
Boah,
only
das ist auch
rotating
crazy.
boat.
Das ist, den Bootlift, den wir genommen haben, der war schon geil, aber ich glaube, das ist noch ein bisschen mehr, das ist noch verrückter.
Yes, it's the famous Falkirk Wheel, one of Scotland's most popular tourist attractions, and we'll be riding
Boah.
the engineering marvel right here next week on Downey Live Travels by Boat.
Dann wisst ihr ja schon, was nächstes Jahr im Sommer für einen Vlog online kommt. Gut, das war ein gutes Video. Ich hoffe, ich konnte ein bisschen Input geben von was wir gemacht haben. Wenn ihr noch mehr Input wollt, vielleicht auch mal zu Schleusen und so Zeugs. Das war im ersten Video mehr das Thema. Ich dachte, hier kommt auch noch was vor, aber vielleicht auch nicht. Ich glaube, normale Schleusen zu machen gibt es in dem dritten, was er jetzt macht, nicht. Aber wenn ihr das cool gefunden habt und dann, yeah, wenn ihr dachtet, ja, das ist mega geil, dann schreibt es in die Kommentare, sonst mache ich noch eine Reaction auf den dritten Teil, der dann bald kommt. Lasst ein Like da, lasst ein Abo da. Schaut auch unbedingt bei Downey Live vorbei. Link in der Beschreibung. Schönen Tag noch und auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye. War das ein gutes Outro? Ich habe keine Ahnung.